So the question is, will the People's Republic of China start a war in the Taiwan Strait after the presidential election on Taiwan, which ended in the victory of the candidate from the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, Vice President Lai Ching? And everybody is speaking about the possibility of escalation after the presidential elections. And Beijing itself demonstrated its special attention to this election, primarily by increasing military presence in the Taiwan Strait. But observers from the South China Morning Post, they noted the relatively restrained attitude of the leadership of the People's Liberation Army of China towards election day and the voting results. The number of flights of Chinese military aircraft towards Taiwan did not even increase, and everybody expected a much more agitated reactions, given that the representative of the ruling party, traditionally accused of separatism and the desire to declare an independent Republic of China, he won these elections. And it is worth mentioning that both the government in Taipei and the government in Beijing currently they support the idea of one China, but nonetheless, everybody of them claims their own legitimacy in governing China, and it is clear that a tougher stance towards Taiwan is one of the key elements of the policy for the President of the People's Republic of China, Xi Jinping. This is related to the return to a traditional confrontation that existed between the island and the mainland during Mao Zedong rule. And Xi Jinping largely revives the foreign policy traditions of the so-called Great Helpman. Xi Jinping also needs to justify his unprecedented election to the position of the People's Republic of China, to the position of the President of the People's Republic of China and the leader of the Chinese Communist Party for the third term. And he needs to justify it with some significant actions. And after the recent Congress of the Chinese Communist Party, many observers claim that Xi Jinping forming military leadership with the aim to intensify the confrontation with Taiwan and even attack the island. But since then, there have been many significant events that do not indicate Beijing's readiness to start such a large-scale war. For example, mysterious disappearance of the former Minister of Defense of the People's Republic of China and State Council member Li Shangfu. So far, nothing is known about his fate. However, he was one of the most trusted officials in the military establishment, and he was specifically oriented towards Xi Jinping. And also he received the position of Minister of Defense with the assistance of the current leader of the People's Republic of China. Additionally, there were talks about serious corruption issues in the Chinese army, particularly regarding weapons procurement. And in this situation, Xi Jinping may simply fear ended up like his main ally, President of Russian Federation Vladimir Putin. Because when Putin contemplated an attack on Ukraine, the Russian armed forces were considered to be the second army in the world, second only to the United States. But inadequate preparations for war, corruption issues in the Russian army, and the misunderstanding of the Russian political leadership, the country they were trying to invade, all this led to the inglorious failure of Putin's blitzkrieg. It is absolutely clear that Xi Jinping would not want to experience a similar failure in the event of the invasion of Taiwan, especially considering that in recent years the United States has been doing everything possible to enhance the capabilities, not only of the Taiwanese Navy, but also of the army that would confront the soldiers of the People's Liberation Army of China if they were to reach the territory of the Taiwan directly. Additionally, there are serious economic risks for China if Taiwan becomes the target of attack, which will be going for some period of time. This would not only severely impact the global economy, but also deal a significant blow to the economy of the People's Republic of China. not only inevitable sanctions against PRC, but also serious problems with the production of essential components for the economy, such as semiconductors. And it could set back the economy of the People's Republic of China to the 1970s. And Xi Jinping would truly have to recall the legacy of Mao Zedong, when ordinary Chinese were attempting to smelt steel in their backyards, causing bewilderment of everybody worldwide and becoming not a stable economic factor, but a subject of jokes. This is clearly not the situation that the chairman of the People's Republic of China would like to find himself in. On the other hand, it is evident that Xi Jinping would like to complete his tenure as the president of the PRC and the general secretary of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China with something glorious, so that everybody will say that he ensured the so-called reunification of the homeland. And in this sense, it is understandable that Beijing will continue to exert significant pressure on Taiwan to compel its leaders to make their compromises that would prevent China from starting a major war. And by the way, in the event of a victory by the candidate from the Kuomintang party, this pressure could have been much more serious and obvious, counting on the Kuomintang's agreement with Chinese conditions. And when it would not happen, the inflexibility of the Kuomintang president could have led to a large-scale military attack by China on Taiwan. And in contrast, it is clear that what to expect from the president of the Democratic Progressive Party. It is evident that he will not agree to any pressure from Beijing, and in this sense, there will be no disappointment from Chinese side. And therefore, strangely enough, the victory of a candidate who initially spoke of distancing from China is much more of a chance that there will be no major war than the victory of a candidate who promised peaceful relations with China and spoke of Taiwan being a bridge between the People's Republic of China and the West. But it is important that on this bridge, passenger cars travel, or in case of China and Taiwan, trade ships sail, and not aircraft carriers and tanks. In any case, it is clear that discussing the conflict in the coming months is not necessary. Xi Jinping may follow the same logic as Russian Federation President Vladimir Putin. That is to wait for the results of the presidential elections in the United States. Understand who will occupy the president's office in the coming years, Joseph Biden or Donald Trump, or maybe the presidential elections will take a completely different trajectory that we are seeing now in January 2024. And already the figure of the new president and his political intentions can be used to plan either war or a refusal of war. In this sense, despite the importance of the presidential elections in Taiwan in terms of the situation in Taiwan Strait, the determining factor for the possibility of a major war between the People's Republic of China and the United States will still be the US presidential elections in November. Following these elections, the Politburo of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China and the Military Council of the Central Committee of the CPC will decide on the readiness or unreadiness for an attack on Taiwan, or whether to consider political dialogue with Taipei and Washington. This is done to provide Xi Jinping with at least a ghostly opportunity to realize his ambitions. Thank you for watching, have a nice day, and Slava Ukraini!